back the curtain on how the Panthers decided to move on from their former MVP. Cam said the team simply texted him to let him know they were parting ways. Cam said he couldn't believe how he was treated after giving the team and city everything he had. Shannon, were you surprised to hear this?
Yes, and it's very disappointing, Skip. I'm disappointed that Carolina handled it this way. Skip, there's nothing wrong with the team moving on. That's well within their right. You're bringing in a new head coach. You want to go in a different direction. Basically, the new ownership, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tepper was the guy that took over.
Yep.
So, Skip, you know, you want to start spring cleaning. You want to go top to bottom. We're cleaning on, we're moving on. New head coach, new quarterback, Skip, that's well within their right. But I believe Cam Newton deserves better than that, Skip. As the face of your franchise for 9 years, he deserved to be an in-person call. Skip, if you remember, Tom Brady had a meeting with Coach Belichick. Tom Brady had a meeting with Mr. Kraft. You owe him that, Skip. When the Ravens released me after the 2001 season, Ozzie called me. He said, boy, what you going to do? I said, well, you tell me what you think I should do, Ozzie. He said, boy, you led the league in catches for tight ends. You can still play. I said, well, I'm going to play then. He said, now, you know we drafted Todd last year, and we want Todd to play. So we're going to release you. Go look around, boy. Somebody wants you. Somebody wants your talent. But if you don't find anything, come back. But just know Todd is going to be our starter. Skip, no problem. You mean to tell me they couldn't do that for Cam? You mean to tell me you can't be Marty Herney, you drafted this man. You mean to tell me you cannot pick up the phone and call says, Cam, we're going to move in a different direction. We appreciate everything you gave the city. We appreciate everything you gave the organization for 9 years. We really appreciate your service, but we're moving on at this time. We wish you all the best. You text this man, Skip? But that's cold. That's how you know that it was over. Skip, you know how sometimes, you know, when somebody I ain't going to say it was guy or gal, but they pick up the phone and call you. Don't you ever call me again. What they were telling you, Skip, they really want you to call them again, don't they?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't going to do that. No, I ain't going to do it. So Carolina basically told Cam, we really, really done. With everything about you, with you, this is over. Because they didn't even have the decency. Skip, I ain't going to forget courtesy. They didn't have the decency to pick up the man and call a man that gave them 9 years of great service. He was the face of the franchise, no matter what you think. Was he flamboyant? Did he celebrate too much? No matter what. Cam gave them everything he had.
He did.
And in the end, it might have been the reason why he's not there, because as you said, he died for their cause.
He did.
Without trying to spare himself. So yes, this is awful. This is an awful look for Carolina. No matter how you slice it, you can move on, but Skip, you owed him more than that.
I agree. Again, just to be fair, he said they did call him after the fact.
Yes.
The deed was done.
Yes.
And then they called him. I assume the owner and the GM called him.
Skip, they had already made the decision.
It was
and
done.
Then they tell him, well, Cam, you can seek a trade if you want to, knowing they've already tried the shopping, couldn't get anything, and then they say, we're going to release you, but you can try.
Okay, so I do agree with you. They'd done him wrong. They'd done him dirty. Because even worse than just a text message was the fact they waited until March 24th to release him.
Yes!
Remember, free agency opened on the 16th, and then 18th you could officially go.
Right.
Well, give him a shot.
Right.
And again, would that have changed his life? I have no idea. What if he had been available at the start of free agency as opposed to 7, 8 days into free agency? Because all the quote-unquote bombs were dropping everywhere. People were already securing their quarterback, or at least their quarterback plan, before he hit the market.
If you're in a relationship, I don't mind you moving on. Just don't lead me on.
Yeah.
Don't make me think one thing while you've already gone out and started something with someone else. You knew you was moving on with Teddy Bridgewater. You knew I wasn't going to be your quarterback. So why keep me there?
You had to know that ahead of March 16th.
Thank you.
You had to make that plan.
Right. Because guess what you had done, Skip? You had already signed the quarterback. The coordinator that was Teddy, that was in New Orleans. Obviously he was offensive coordinator at LSU, but he had
Joe Brady.
Joe. So he had a layover in New Orleans. So that was a perfect situation.
Yep. All that had to be plotted out far in advance. Okay. So Cam, when they got I think the text went to the agent, not straight to Cam.
Right. And his agent called. Yes.
Okay. And when he got the call, they were waiting to approve a trade. Like they did have trade approval.
Right.
And so they're waiting for the communication to be, are you okay to go to so-and-so? What? We're released? So he got blindsided by that.
Right.
And I get that. And to your point, he took them to a Super Bowl, and you can't take that away.
Right.
He was the face of that franchise for not for 5 years, for 9 years.
Yep.
It's a long time.
Right.
And a lot of good to great things happened.
Right.
And listen, when it comes to, if we can use that, it's now a cliche, but that whole idea of balling out, nobody can ball out more than that guy can.
Yes.
When it was time to play at the highest level,
Yes.
he literally imposed his physical will on defenses. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Right.
But something went terribly wrong here between him and that management.
It had to, Skip.
Something went that we don't know.
That you can't give him Cam Newton can't get a call. At least, Skip, even when Peyton got released, Jim Irsay, he talked to Peyton personally. That's what you normally do, Skip, someone of that magnitude. Now, I'm not saying Cam was Peyton Manning, but I'm saying someone that's been the face of your franchise for as long as he has, as great as Cam has been for that organization, the general manager or the owner owed it to Cam to give him a call.
Now, remember, in reverse, remember how angry Dan Gilbert got on the night of the decision because LeBron did not inform him first via any kind of message. He just said, I deserve some kind of call before he announced the live decision.
But Skip, remember now, Rich Paul said he did give him a couple of hours heads up that LeBron was not coming back. But I guess
he wanted LeBron to call him and just tell him sort of quote unquote man to man.
Right.
After all they'd done together.
Right.
And yet the blood was already bad between, they were already having conflict to start with.
Right.
And then it went completely over the edge that night.
Right.
And somehow they
made
reunited. I don't know how.
But Skip, we never got any indication that the blood was bad between Carolina and the front. I mean, Cam in the front office. We never got that until this situation occurred, and because you're like, well, hold on, wait a minute. How does it go from he has permission to seek a trade, but you've already released him? You've already tried to shop Cam, and then when you got no takers, you're like, okay, we made up our mind, we're going to release you. But then you then you say, well, you can seek a trade. Maybe we didn't call the right teams. You do Cam Newton like that, you can't have the courage to just pick up Marty Hurney. You drafted Cam. You drafted him.
He was there on most of Cam's watch. Remember, he lost his job for a while to Gettleman, but then he got his job back. So it was Marty Hurney to start with and Marty Hurney to finish.
Right.
And I would love to hear his side of this story, and I don't know if we ever will.
Skip, when I decided I wasn't going to come back in 2004, I wanted to play one more year, make it a nice 15 and walk away. And CBS offered me the job, and I wasn't coming back. And my agent, Marvin Demoff, said, you want me to call Mike? I said, no, I want to call Mike, and I want to call Mr. B. I said, Mike, I appreciate it. I said, I know it's last minute, but I'm taking the job. I'm not coming back.
But there was not a drop of bad blood between. Nothing had ever gone wrong.
Skip, and Mr. B, I never forget, he's like, Sharpe, are you sure? Because I think we got a chance to be really good. I said, Mr. B, this opportunity is too good. I said, there are going to be players retiring every single year. I said, but desk jobs don't come available very often. I said, this opportunity is too good to pass up.
Okay.
He wished me the best, Skip. But you give someone that courtesy, Skip. I mean, you can't give, that's Cam.
Yep.
He's, like you said, he's a former MVP. He's a former Rookie of the Year. And you can't give him the courtesy and say, Cam, we're moving in a different direction.
Okay.
We appreciate everything you've done.
All right, so here's my takeaway point. And this is my 2 cents from a distance. If I'm Cam Newton, I don't want to come across as I'm crying about this because it's done over.
It's done.
Nothing's ever going to change. You need to use this as fuel now. And he is. I'm pretty sure he's talking about it publicly, not to whine or cry about it, but to say, okay, watch this. Watch what I'll do now, because it's time for him to, what's the old expression? Don't get mad, get even. Okay, go get even. Go show. You can still ball out at age 31.
Get them in the playoffs.
Go impose your physical will on the Patriots. Go impose your will on that job, because it's not your job yet. You're going to have to win it. I don't know. I think it's kind of a 50-50-50 fight with Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer. I think you're going to have to go in there a little behind schedule, because they're going to know the playbook way better than you'll be able to once camp starts. And win the job. And then you can go right down the list of teams on that schedule, which, by the way, is the hardest schedule in the NFL off last year's win-loss records, and pick those teams. You passed on me. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to get even with you, and I'm going to get even with you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with all that. It's the same thing as Odell was saying in the same session. It was on Odell's, I think it was Odell's YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Odell said, Blonde is back. Fine with that. And he said, it's the new me. Well, it's always the new you, Odell. I just want to see you play.
Right.
But his point was, I'm tired of playing your game, and I don't know who's, I guess it's the media's game or your followers' game on, the negativity you get on social media.
Correct.
But he said, it's like me and Cam talk about this humble SH. They all want us to be humble, but then when we are humble,